Hello and welcome back to the Sport Game Life. I'm your host, Mark, and today I'm unboxing a blast from the past. That's Twilight Struggle from GMT Games. In 1945, unlikely allies toppled Hitler's war machine, while humanity's most devastating weapons forced the Japanese Empire to its knees in a storm of fire. Where once there stood many great powers, there then stood only two. The world had scant months to sigh its collective relief before a new conflict threatened. Unlike the titanic struggles of the preceding decades, this conflict would be waged not primarily by soldiers and tanks, but by spies and politicians, scientists and intellectuals, artists and traders. Twilight Struggle is a two-player game simulating the 45-year dance of intrigue, prestige, and occasional flares of warfare between the Soviet Union and the United States. The entire world is the stage on which these two titans fight to make the world safer for their own ideologies and ways of life. The game begins amidst the ruins of Europe as the two new superpowers scramble over the wreckage of the Second World War and ends in 1989 when only the United States remained standing. Twilight Struggle inherits its fundamental systems from the card-driven classics We the People and Hannibal, Rome versus Carthage. It is a quick-playing, low-complexity game in that tradition. The game map is a world map of the period whereon players move units and exert influence in attempts to gain allies and control for their superpower. As with GMT's other card-driven games, decision-making is a challenge. How to best use one's cards and units given consistently limited resources. Event cards add detail and flavor to the game. They cover a vast array of historical happenings from the Arab-Israeli conflicts of the 1948 and 1967 to Vietnam and the U.S. peace movement, to the Cuban Missile Crisis and other such incidents that brought the world to the brink of nuclear annihilation. Subsystems capture the prestige-laden space race as well as nuclear tensions, with the possibility of game-ending nuclear war. This game is designed by Ananda Gupta and Jason Matthews. The art is by Victor Sist, Roger McGowan, Chichu Nito, Guillermo Reese, Mark Simonich. It's published by GMT Games originally in 2005 for ages 14 and up for two players, and it takes about 2 to 3 hours. As always, before we get to the table, I do ask that you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for us, please, and hit that bell icon if you have not yet done so that way you will not miss any new content. All right. Again, this is an older game. It was originally in, what did I say, 2005? Is that what I just said? But it's, I think this copy was the 8th printing, I believe, was in 2021. That's at least based on what it says on the front of the box. And they keep doing a reprint. I think they got a 9th edition coming out. GMT Games does this thing. I don't remember what it's called. Rob was telling me about it. If they get enough people to back a reprinting, they will do it. And when I looked this up, when I was looking for this game, they do have it in like final stages, but I found this and I'm like, I might as well just grab this while I can. So this is still actually full shrink, brand new. It's never been opened, so I might as well. But if this is of interest, let's take a look at what comes in this box. Rob and I played this game. It's a long one. There's a lot going on. It took us quite a while to learn. We were learning as we were playing, which is a big mistake, I think, for this game. We ended up playing this. It was like 6 hours, and by the end of it, it was like 2 a.m, and I'm just like, dude, I don't care who wins. I just want to go to bed. It was after a very long day of gaming, but it's a fantastic game, and use of the cards to like they're using real historical events that happened. You're getting these cards and they're affecting the gameplay and what you do, and it's just like it was so incredible. Like, this is such a cool idea. So something I simply had to have. All right, enough of that. Let's get to the table. And if you're interested in hanging around, we'll take a look at what comes in the box. And again, if it's something you don't have, you can find it on the aftermarket. But also keep an eye on GMT's website. if I'm going to pull it up, and this is not a sponsored video, as usually these just it's I'm just sharing what I know, so maybe others don't know. P500. So if you go to gmtgames.com and you can look for the P500 pre-order, and there you will see. In fact, I'll pull it up right now and find this game, because I know it was. I looked at it very recently, right before I decided to pull the trigger and buying this 8th printing of it. It was listed in here. I'm looking through. There it is. So they've got a 20th anniversary Hall of Fame edition coming right now. It's in art and final development. And so it is going to get a reprint. It's going to get a new cover. It's a pretty nice looking cover. Like I said, it's going to be a 25th and 20th anniversary Hall of Fame edition. So I don't know. They list some things that are going to be in here. I don't know if it's going to be much different than this. It might be different, but I think it's going to be pretty much the same, just with maybe some change in art. But so you can check it out, and you can add that to your cart. You can still order it. They do have it's a discounted price to basically pre-order it. And so if you are interested in this, you can either find the copy or an older copy like I have, or pre-order their 20th version, 20th anniversary edition, getting ready to come out. I don't have a date. They don't have a date. So, all right, enough said. Let's get to it. Let me zoom out. I don't know why I'm always going the wrong way on my zoom in, zoom out button. So, but I'm always doing that. But this is this is pretty incredible game. You're playing it, and and these events that, if you're older, I mean, if you're young, you're not, depending on what you learn in history, obviously I wasn't there in 1945. I'm not that old, but I was born in the 70s, so I lived part of some of this. So a lot of the stuff that happened in the late 70s, early 80s, I do remember. So this was it was really interesting to kind of go back and see these events and read about them or remember them. All right, so this is it's a big rule book. All right, so keep that in mind. But it's you take it. I think it's not that bad if you take it in little chunks. But it's not a I don't know. I would assume the rule book that they will redo will be the same. So this was from 2021. It still looks like it was printed in 05. I mean, this is all this back here are card histories. We're talking about all the different cards. So the end, we're like 19 pages to get to the end. Yeah, it's 2009 for the rule book. But there's a lot of words in the rule book. All right. Here is the Twilight Struggle card list. And then, so these are the player 8 cards for each side. Each player gets, like I said, these are full size. But so we have those. All of our punchies for Soviet Union and the United States. A lot of little punchers. We've got some additional tokens down here. Here's U.S.-Japan Mutual Defense, the Marshall Plan, NATO, de Gaulle leads France, the Warsaw Pact, just Camp David Accords, John Paul II elected Pope. So tear down this wall. There's a lot of things that happen that will trigger different things in the game. So take a look at the board. I don't know. All right. That's a big old Ziploc. I think I'm going to do the board last because it's pretty big. So we've got some dice, and then we've got a bunch of the cards. And again, I'm going to look under here just to make sure there's nothing under there. Okay. I got a bunch of baggies for all the tokens. And I'll just give you kind of go through, take a look at some of the cards, give you an idea, and then I'll just show you the board. I don't know if my camera will zoom out far enough. It's pretty big. Big board. It's the world. So, but we've got, let's see if I can zoom back in. So, I think, yeah, this is mid-war, late war. So these cards will come out at different times during the early, late, mid of the conflict. But you got the Muslim resolution, so you're going to remove all U.S. influence in 2 of the following countries. So list all these different countries that you'll have to remove influence if you've got them. The ABM treaty improved DEFCON 1 level, then play one. The player may conduct operations as if they played a 4 ops card. Cultural Revolution, the U.S. has the China. If the U.S. has the China card, claim it face up and available for play. If the USSR already has it, USSR gains 1 victory point and then removed from play if used as an event. There's just U2 incident. We got OPEC, lone gunman. There's just all kinds of the Panama Canal returned, Camp David Accords again. So they're using, and there's like real photographs of the Latin American death squads. There's like real photos, stock photos from those times, and some just have icons. But here's some scoring cards. But yeah, there's a lot of, it's real interesting when you're going through this and just some of these events that take place, and it affects your game, and it's just really neat. Now I'm trying to remember, I think Rob played, I'm trying to remember, I think I was the USSR, I think he was the US. I believe he won the game. I'll have to look back because he was sitting on this side, or he was on the left, I was on the right. So here's some more scoring. There's several of different scoring for presence and domination, be of control. But again, just kind of more cards. There's the China card I mentioned earlier. So these will come out in the early part of the game. And they tell you on each card basically what you're doing. So I'm not going to go through every one of them because they're all different, but you get an idea that kind of how this game is. It's very, very interesting, and it is a lot of fun. And I do look forward to playing this again, and I'm kind of hoping to maybe this coming year when I go back and see Rob. Like I think I said this earlier, I'm gonna tell him he's got to be ready because I want a rematch. And we'll be ready to go, so it doesn't take us 6 hours to play the game. But let's take a look at the board. I'm gonna have to zoom out as far as I can, and even then, I'm not sure it'll fit. But we'll get her in here. We'll figure it out. Yeah, it's a big boy. It's a big boy. So, it does. It all fits, just kind of, sort of, not really. So it's almost in there. You're not missing. So it right here where it says required military operations, there's really nothing below this except for the tip of South America. So that's pretty much the let's see, this is the very bottom of the score track. So you got 2020, but your score track's going to keep moving back and forth, and then eventually when the game ends, whoever's on the positive wins. But I think if someone gets all the way to 20, they'll automatically win too. I think if you can get to 20, I can't remember, but yeah, there's a lot going on with all these different countries and different things. So it's a really cool war game based on historical things that took place between the United States and the Soviet Union. All right. Thank you so much for checking it out. I know it's weird to unbox an old game, but interestingly enough, this had never been opened. This is brand new. So that was kind of cool. So, but anyways, again, thank you for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe button, and hit that bell icon so you're not missing any of our new content when we're dropping it. And we really appreciate any comments that you might have. Feel free to drop them below. Thank you so much, and we will see you at the table.